My guest this week is a producer, DJ and entrepreneur. One part's Johnny Rotten, Del Boy, Cokie, and Nottingham's finest, a vinyl enthusiast, guest mixes on the likes of Rinse FM, played at the likes of Bassfest, XOYO and Hit and Run. It's Daseplate. Good evening, fella. How are you?
Hey up, mate. I'm very well. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It's a Thursday, right at the end of March. It's getting earlier. It's getting lighter. It's getting a bit more summery, a little bit more springtime. It's doing everything for the serotonin, everything for the vitamin D. It's just a nice atmosphere out in the world at the moment.
Yeah, trust me, bro. I'm solar powered. You know, as soon as it's sunny, I just want to run outside and fuck everything off.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are worried about not worried, but there's a lot of people that are like, sit in the shade or do stuff like that. But you're a big fan of the summer, are you? Big sun enthusiast, big out there.
Bro, I love the Canary Islands. You know what I mean? You catch me.
Okay. Go on. Have you got any holidays booked for like the rest of 2022?
I'm a last minute man, I am, bro. I'll book it like 3 days before. You know,
yeah.
That's how you get the cheapest deals, isn't it? Right?
That is. As someone that is, as I'm sure we'll get into later, an entrepreneur, someone that knows a bargain, someone that knows a deal, booking those last minute, getting those last minute deals, last minute flights, last minute holidays. That's the way to go. If you can, if you can afford to be sort of like just drop everything and go out there, then that's probably like literally the best.
Working away, innit? Like take your laptop and that, like happy days. I don't really go out in Nottingham, so that's where I go drinking and do me bits and bobs. You know what I mean? I don't really go out to the pub in Notts too much. I'm always like tucked away working 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nottingham off of the top of my head is not a sun trap, is it? It's not somewhere that you would necessarily go like, I'm going down to Brighton or I'm going down to Bournemouth to catch a tan. You wouldn't go, I'm going to Nottingham to catch a tan. It's like you said, it's not necessarily somewhere that you would go.
Yeah. I think the equator's a bit more than a stone's throw.
It definitely is. We talked about in the intro as well, a lot of accolades to your name. Just to get back into the roots of sort of your introduction to the industry and the roots of how you were in the industry. What sort of like your earliest experiences into music and your earliest experiences sort of like engaging with music?
Mate, fucking literally day dot. My mum and dad were in a punk band together. So
sick.
My dad was the lead.
Know that?
Yeah. My dad was the lead singer and my mum was the drummer.
Yeah.
So literally from day dot. I remember even like, I must have been about, how old are you when you start talking? Like 3 or 4?
Must have been.
I remember they dragged me down to the studio in Nottingham to like, I had to say something and I wouldn't say it because I was too like shy.
Too shy?
Yeah, because I was like 3 or something. I forgot about that actually. I only just remembered that then. Magnet Studios next to the gym that we go to now actually. So every time I go in, it's like...
It's still there? The studios are still there?
Yeah, Magnet Studios, yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, sick. Since then and then... Just literally raised on punk music. I've played the guitar since I was about 6.
Right. So can you remember? Because I quite like punk actually. Can you remember like any early bands or like early influences that like you were listening to, or like what your mum and dad were like sort of like playing?
Yeah. They're like into like bands like Exploited, UK Subs, Sex Pistols, obviously, The Clash, Killing Joke,
nice,
New Model Army. Yeah, loads. Very, very musical.
So quite heavy, like up tempo, sort of like heavy. Heavy drums, quite raw, like quite rough and rugged and raw. Not like a polished sound. So like obviously punk is stereotypically sort of like something that's like DIY, heavy reverb, like heavy sort of like
No,
sort of like mastering or no sort of like finished like polished sound.
No fucking about, just raw and heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like the maddest sounding, like the mix downs were pretty much non-existent. Just mad. I think that's where I get most of my inspiration from for making my kind of music. And it's
like heavy sort of like sound, that heavy sound, like loud. Like I think loud is probably the way to describe it. Like loud sound, loud, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember I read this YouTube comment once, what I never forgot, and it was like the closest thing I've ever seen to like hate on my music. And I remember it said, sounds like a dustbin getting kicked. I love it.
You said that as a compliment. You were like, yep, I will have that. Absolutely, any day of the week.
Yeah.
That's sick. And then so they were playing, like obviously producing that sound, playing that sound, getting you to listen to bits and pieces, introduce you to guitar. What was sort of like that transition from stereotypically like not acoustic, but like analog music of like playing like analog, like playing instruments and bits and pieces like that. What was the progression from you to like then DJing and producing electronic music?
Well, I suppose with the guitar thing, like, because I was like completely self-taught, I never had a lesson. I'd just always be learning tabs. They're called tabs. Like, you
Okay.
buy these books of like tabs, and it'd be like how to play Led Zeppelin, how to play Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And then as time got on, there was like DVDs and the internet and that. And remember, I think I got a 4-track for Christmas, if you
Okay.
remember them. And like 4 tracks, basically, it's kind of like, it's like you put a tape cassette into it, and you can build your own song on it by doing each channel one by one. So you'll plug your guitar in, press record, do your thing for 3 minutes, and then you plug a mic in, and you could do your singing. So it'd all be like unquantized.
Yeah.
And like just one shot. And obviously, because it's on cassette, you can't really just fucking press backspace or note, and then you put your drums in and whatever. So I think that's probably like the first bit of technology from that. And then I think the whole transition for me from like rock music, and as you say, like, what's the word, like real instruments into like electronic and like leaning onto dubstep, and that was definitely just rap and hip hop, discovering that when I was, I don't know. I remember it was a big thing, because I'd be like, one part of me loved like The Clash and like Green Day and all these like mad old school, like old bands.
Yeah.
But then there was the other side where it was like 50 Cent, Eminem, like Nas, Kanye West. And then that was the kind of tipping point, you know what I mean? Between like loving production and like 808 hits and shit like that.
Yeah. So were you like jumping suddenly on the computer and we're like, right, I'm going to download Fruity Loops. I'm going to download like.
This was before then. I'm still talking when I'm about 9 or 10.
Okay.
I'm 25. I just turned 25. So what year is that? Is that like 15 years ago? What year is that?
It was 2022. So like 2007, is it? Might be 2007.
When I was 10. Yeah, something that kind of sounds about right. But yeah. Just, and I remember I got obsessed with like turntablism off the back of hip hop, as I said.
Yeah.
I was watching all those old
the DMC like championships and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the Technics, scratching.
Yeah, so you had like A-Track and a couple of other people that have been doing it since time, like turntablism, like putting on vinyl, getting like a 2-channel mixer in the middle and doing like championships of like samples, like scratching over samples, samples, and like dissing other DJs by looping samples and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was like rap battles, but with turntables in it. Yeah, I got mad into that. It was just, as I say, that year, what you say is right, 2007, because before all that, when you're saying things like, oh, I just downloaded Fruity Loops or stuff, like YouTube didn't even exist in 2007. So obviously, just off the back of that, like loving hip hop, I remember, you know when like 50 Cent would drop an album, like it was like a motive to get a bus into town and buy it and then come home and listen to it. It's like a big thing.
Yeah, because otherwise you couldn't listen to it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that was like, that was like something you look forward to and that. And then obviously, so YouTube launched in 2008, and that must have been where I just discovered like scratching and. Is turntablism, is that the right word?
Yeah, that is absolutely the right word. For anyone that is using vinyl or anyone that is using like whether it's direct drive or whether it's belt driven like turntables.
Yeah. I remember having to research all that because I really wanted some, but obviously it cost a fortune to have a pair of turntables.
Yeah.
Never mind the records, do you know what I mean?
How was it with your mum and dad? Because obviously, like they're in a punk band, and stereotypically, obviously, they're playing instruments and stuff like that. Was there ever any not friction, or was there ever any pushback? I'm only personally saying this from my dad, because I remember being the opposite way. My dad's really into jazz and funk and soul and stuff, and like hip hop and whatever. And I remember being like 7 years old, 8 years old, and like getting some free. Do you remember you used to get free CDs and like the whatever the Sunday papers were as well?
Yeah, magazines.
And so like, I remember like it was like early rock stuff, and my dad like he'd laugh now, but he'd be like, nah, turn this shit off. He's like, no, he only listened to like jazz, funk, northern soul, hip hop, other bits and stuff like that. And I had the opposite to you, where it was like I was trying to listen to this rock music, and he was like, nah, this is shit, get it off. So were your parents the other way, and were you like trying to listen to hip hop? Were they like, nah, this is wank, like don't listen to this, or were they sort of like encouraging of it?
Well, my parents split up when I was about 3.
Okay.
So it was always just me and my mum. So I think because it was I think if it was 2 versus 1, I probably
Yeah.
would have got overpowered thinking about it. I've never thought about that because obviously, as you say, like when you're that age, like bringing up different genres, like they can kind of sway you then, innit?
Yeah,
But,
yeah, 100%.
but it's still the same joke now. Like I'll be playing her like some stuff, and she'll be like, "Oh, what's that? That's." Do you know what I mean? But that's what her mum would have said about her stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Into,
yeah. It's
like,
always the way, isn't it? This is what makes me laugh. It's like parents or adults get to a certain age, and there's like cult classic films about teenagers, like it's Quadrophenia, and there's loads of other films where it's like teenagers like playing music that their parents don't approve of, and their parents are like, "Oh, this is shit. This is wank. Turn it off." And then they're like, "Nah, this is my cult classic film." And it just happens in the generation. But you try to pull that out or like point that out to certain people, and it's like you realize this is what your parents said to you about the music you're loving now. Like, how can you
yeah,
not see the bigger picture of being like, oh, it's just a new generation, new wave, new stuff like that. So it's it's funny to listen back and see that from another perspective as well. And be
I
like,
remember
okay.
I remember I got her liking Eminem. She loves
Okay.
Eminem. So that was like the point where when the Slipknot CD would finish in the car,
Yeah.
but the
And it
Eminem,
would be like Marshall Mathers LP or something like that, like
yeah,
early
yeah,
Eminem.
or
Yeah. That's unreal. And then moving from that, then so like you said, you were combining the raw punky sound and the bass sound and the loud sound and the like aggression sound with lyrics and with like hip hop and with rap and stuff like that. What was sort of like the first steps into DJing, and what was the first steps into producing?
well, as I say, with all that turntablism and all that and like being vexed that I remember I was so young. I was like trying to research how to do is it Serato?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to like from young. I've been quite like just analytical, like trying to see like comparing prices of getting like records or versus Serato. And I was like, I don't even know how that works to this day. You know, like it turns your turntables into a pair like controllers.
Yeah, so Andy C and Jaguar Skills are the ones that the two that really use that. It's like the Serato DJ one, so it turns it's like an analysis. So you have this basically
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blueprint of a track, and you will have it as a vinyl turntable, but you can run your tunes on Serato through this basically like mimicked vinyl
Yeah.
turntable. So that's how like Jag Skills uses his like cut up and mash up and stuff like that. So he's got like 3 or 4 with like the pads on the side as well, and Andy C as well using like the Serato. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like Serato DJ or Serato something, where you can basically assign music to that sort of virtual vinyl, but like you can obviously mix in tunes and mix
So
in bits and pieces
the
like that.
vinyl already has a cut on it.
Yeah, so the vinyl is just like a vinyl
Yeah.
disc, but you can assign basically like you would on a CDJ, you can assign a track to like deck A or deck B, and then that track is basically loaded onto that vinyl straight away. So you can max it, you can mix it and scratch it and do bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, and obviously that costs dough. So
Yeah.
I got this shit little controller from Maplin's. I remember. I think it's called the Ion IQ.
I remember Ion ones. Yeah, I do remember seeing like the brand Ion. Yeah.
It was dead. I remember I've heard loads of people chat about like Newmark.
The Newmark, mate. The Newmark Mixtrack Pro 2 is infamous on this
Everyone's on
podcast.
about that,
Everyone's on that, but my man was on the Ion. My man was on the Ion vibe. So is it like like I assume it's similar, like to the Newmark?
No. It was like that big.
Oh, a proper mini one. So it was like two fingers on the jog wheel type thing.
Yeah, well the jog wheels were like that.
Yeah.
I had that for years. Yeah.
And you were just sort of like what were you like learning to mix, or what were you mixing at the time?
I'm trying to think that actually. I was thinking that earlier. I remember obviously it was just virtual DJ jobby.
Yeah. So like free virtual DJ, download that, plug the Ion in, so
all those
interface as
all
well.
those dickhead samples like
yeah. I remember like the horn and stuff on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love that. I think it's just everything I was listening to, like all those 50 Cent albums, Kanye West, Eminem. I'm just like doing like weird mashups, find like weird instrumentals and just like learning how to blend it together in that.
One of the unique things about you, and one of the things that I fucking love, is and no one that I've had on the podcast before, and even no one really in the bass music scene, of Daseplate discounts. So for people for people that don't know Daseplate discounts, how would you describe it to people, sort of in a sentence or two?
The future of bargains.
Do you know what? Transparency, full hand on heart. I had Isaac, Isaac Reader. Isaac. Yeah. So we were chatting. I had him on the podcast. And we were chatting about bits and pieces, and he was like, "You should get this lad on." And I was like, "I love his. I know him. Like, I love his music. Like, I know who he is. But now you should get him on and talk about Daseplate discounts." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you on about?" And then we spent 5 minutes going through your Instagram and going through the website and stuff like that. And I was like, I had personally no idea that like he did this, and it's fucking fantastic, and it makes me so happy. So for people listening that aren't aware, obviously you run another side to obviously the brand in Daseplate. You've got the music label Pond Life as well. You've got Daseplate discounts, which like from my perspective is like obviously like you said, bargains, getting stuff in like a big sales like group, like getting a large amount of a product in and selling it on the website or selling it. Have you done car boots as well? Am I right in thinking you've done car boots and bits and pieces?
Yeah. More car boots than hot dinners, mate. Yeah.
So for example, it's like ECommerce, but obviously like in a fun and like in a.
I remember I saw on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I think Instagram was down one night, and I just went. I like logged into my Twitter, and I was like, I didn't know how to work it, so I just typed in Daseplate. Yeah. I remember reading all the stuff that was on there, and I remember like I think some American guy, and he was like, you should check out this guy called Daseplate's Discounts. He's a DJ and also does ECommerce. Yeah. I remember seeing that. I was thinking, yo, that's a fucking joke.
Like you've not heard the word ECommerce before, and you were like, what is this?
E-commerce, like it just sounds joke, doesn't it? It's like
it does. It's very like online, like you said there. You were like, I've done more car boots than hot dinners. Like e-commerce is more like like drop shipping and stuff like that as well. So like people will put it.
All those Forex twats, all those Amazon
stuff like that, and you're like, actually, I'll buy a bulk sale of like 500 items and sell them on a website. And if you want one, you can buy it, and you can buy for postage or packaging and stuff like that as well. Can you give us an example of like some of the stuff that you've sold online or sort of like Daseplate discounts, sort of like ethos?
Oh fucking hell! I think the double-ended dildos really set it up.
So that's an example. I didn't know you'd done that. That's an example of some of the stuff that you've sold online. So you do buy it like in bulk, and then we'll sell it online in like
it's like blind buying pallets, isn't it? So you can just have anything, bro. Like those pot noodles. That video went viral for some reason. Like it's weird because it's like I'll just like obviously it's there and you're in the moment, so you think, I'm just going to try to sell it quick and just do a quick video. I'll expect it to just flop because I've done it in a rush, but then it will end up like getting like it's got like 150,000 views on Instagram.
Yeah,
and then it's weird, isn't it? It's just I suppose it's just joke, isn't it? Like,
but this is what because I was like, is he doing this as like it's either unreal branding or does he sort of like have like a business background? I mean, obviously they're selling and obviously it's fantastic.
I did a B-Tech business, yeah.
There we go. So like you have got the business background and you have got the thing there. It's not like you're doing it for like a viral hit. You're not like, I'm selling all these and like.
I know I'm going to sound mad, but it's just another thing what I've done since I was like 13.
Yeah,
buying and selling. Yeah, I went like where that all started. I think the first thing I went Turkey once, and I got bare fake garms. Like it was everything what I liked at the time, and what it was like. Big Horse, Ralphie, Stone Island tracksuits, Gucci pouches. CP Company weren't really as popular back then, but all that kind of stuff. And I brought that back in a few Lacoste tracksuits as well. Brought that back in like a big suitcase and just shotted them all.
Yeah.
BBM, bro. I made thousands off BBM. Do you remember BBM, bro?
I don't, mate. No,
BlackBerry Messenger.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So you were you were selling them on BBM. So I was thinking a brand. I was like, no, I don't recognize BBM. You were just selling them like broadcasting. Like I'm selling this.
Oh yeah, bro. BBM was the days. Yeah. Oh, bro. That was just pure hustling. That was like how people sold drawers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just doing that, just like getting buses to random places and dropping off like Snide, Stone Island, and like. Yeah. Just mad bits, and then I started selling shisha pens as well.
Okay.
Mad how they've come back into fashion, innit?
Yeah, like the vape pens and stuff like that. Yeah,
I was ahead of that. So
you were there ahead of the trend. Trend.
I was selling them before they boomed off because obviously you got e-liquid shops on every like
corner now. Yeah,
precinct now, innit? But yeah, they went off, bro. I sold hundreds of them.
That's sick. And so you've just kept that. balanced alongside the producing, balanced alongside putting on the events, balanced alongside like the DJing and stuff like that. Well, and you're like you said there, you're just literally buying like the mystery palette type things and being like, right, I'll just
Back then I wasn't, because
Yeah.
I was a bit young to be buying like that amount of gear, and I'd have nowhere to store it, and I didn't have a car. But back then I'd just be buying stuff what I wanted. So I wanted a fake Stone Island jacket. So I thought, oh well, if I want it, then I might as well buy 10 and sell the rest on. Do you know what I mean? And then same with those shisha pens, because obviously you could blaze it in your bedroom or at school or whatever, and it had no smell. So I was selling them at 20 quid a pop, bro.
Yeah.
For a fucking 300 puff shisha pen, it was mad.
What's if you had to? I know it's quite on the spot. What's your favourite venue in the UK and why?
In the UK, I'd say it's got to be West Indian Centre in Leeds.
Okay. I've heard of it. I've not been there myself, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
From the dubstep days as well. I remember Scream and a lot of people like chatting about it, and hearing Loafer and a couple of other people chat about it as well. Like that as a dub and reggae and dubstep like place to go like for a venue.
Yeah.
I imagine it. Has it got a good sound system?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's sub-dub sound system. So it's just fucking, it's not even open no more, bro. It's a proper shame. Iration Steppers sound system, like that's what they'd be using for it. And then Room 2, they'd have a sick rig as well. Whenever I think of like a dream set, I'd love to play like a 2-hour set at a sub-dub, because it's like proper, like just work it up and work it down, and you don't have to play nothing too hectic. There's no bright lights. It's like the kind of rave where people get their lighters out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went to a couple when I was about 17, and as you say, I think I saw like a Deep Medi special there.
Okay.
Oh, it was sick, bro. It was amazing. Yeah, that'd be my dream place. No lighting, no stages, no nothing like that. Just a little, you'll catch just like a little, like the Pixar lamp.
Yeah.
Just like a little lamp over the decks, and you can hardly see what you're doing. And
But the vibes there, the atmosphere and everything like there is created from the music and the sound and the crowd and stuff like that. Yeah. Just to finish on, what's a piece of advice that you would give to upcoming producers and DJs, or even upcoming entrepreneurs? I know it's quite like unique, but upcoming entrepreneurs in the music scene, because like I said to you, you're quite unique in the sense that I don't know anyone else. So some people will push t-shirts like with their own branding on, some people will push merch with their own branding on, bits and pieces and stuff like that. You've got a very unique sort of sales point and sales pitch combined with your sound and combined with your music and bits and pieces. Is there any advice that you would give to upcoming people who want to pursue that?
I say just do it. I know it sounds like generic, but when I say do it, just do it. Like just do it to the max. Like just fall forward. Yeah. Like that's the beauty of what like I do, and that's what I've always done, because I'd like do all the graphic design myself, make all the music myself, and that write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. Like, just do it. Like just whatever you do, like that's the art. Like everything I make, that's what I mean. My tunes ain't even that good, like scientifically, but artistically, there's something. And the same with like the merchandise and the artwork and the t-shirt designs. Everything's just like, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, it's all subjective, innit? It's all art. Do you know what I mean? It's treated like art. Like that's what you just get away with shit. Like not shit, but you know what I mean? Like just alternative, because it's like it's not right or wrong. It's not got to be a set way. Even if it is shit, like you just say, oh, it's meant to be shit. That's the vibe. It's a shit vibe. Do you know what I mean?
It's having that confidence.
Yeah. Don't just observe the masses and do the opposite. That's when you're gonna shine up. It'll take a while, but just fucking have a laugh. Most importantly, as well, be yourself. Some people aren't like. Some people aren't like funny. Do you know what I mean? They don't like having a laugh. So maybe that's different advice. But just fucking have a laugh. Don't just It's just that punk ethos, isn't it?
Yeah, DIY. Don't take yourself too seriously. And don't get caught up in your own ego. I think that's probably like a big thing.
Yeah, serious, and just keep up the good work.
Damon, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate, to chat to you.
God bless you, mate. Thank you for having me, yeah?